The cost of living getting to be too much? Let's talk about it.
How are people affording life right now? How are people tackling this cost of living?
We're not. Truth of the matter, most of us are living paycheck to paycheck with credit card debt. I know people who are legitimately putting gas and groceries on credit cards just so that they can get back and forth to work. I believe that this is what most people are now calling the silent depression. $100 has become the new $20, and it's ridiculous, but the best thing about it is that people have shifted their core values. Look at this app alone and all the videos of all the retailers on Black Friday that nobody was there. They just don't care anymore. People are realizing that if it doesn't bring value into my life, then I don't need it. And while I don't get political on this app, you're having people on both sides of the aisles going, yeah, this kind of sucks. Right wing, left wing, it doesn't matter. It's the same bird. And now so many Americans are going, I don't care. I think it's woken a lot of people up to the idea of why are we funding things that we don't care about when all of us right here are struggling. It's changed the people's attitude in the workforce to where a job is just a job. You used to be very loyal to a job, but they've seen that there's no employee loyalty because there's no employer loyalty. People aren't putting up with toxic bosses anymore. You're either going to treat me right or I'm going to leave, because there's tons of companies that are hiring because nobody can find help. People just don't trust the system anymore, and they're starting to focus on what matters the most. Most people are out here making more money than they ever have and realizing that it's not going anywhere. So they're just not spending it. And what has made a lot of people turn their back on the system is that now they somehow either make too much or not enough money to qualify for the government assistance that they've been paying into their entire life. There are people out there who can't afford to buy the groceries, but they make too much money to get the food stamps. A lot of people are out here calling it the depression. I like to call it the awakening. People are just realizing how much they can get done on their own and that they don't need the government to hold their hand. So to go back to your question, how are people making it? Financially, I don't really know, but I'm very grateful that people are starting to look for answers.
That video really touched on the whole economic scale right now, right? They mentioned a lot of people having to use credit cards for everyday life, like groceries, getting this done for the household, paying for this thing, paying for that thing. A lot of people just can't afford to pay in cash for their everyday regular lifestyle. And then he mentioned employee and employer loyalty. Like, there's no more loyalty no more. Like, I would say maybe, let's say 30 years ago, 40 years ago, maybe even longer than that, there was a sense of, okay, I can work this factory job, I can do this job, etc., and be good. I have a pension for whenever I retire, right? I'm gonna be able to take care of my family when I am working just off one paycheck alone. That's where the word traditional comes from, and people refer to a lot as far as these traditional households go, right? And then they mention a whole bunch of other things as far as, okay, the silent depression, right? I feel like a lot of people are, in a little bit of a silent depression. He mentioned there was a Black Friday. No one went out and supported. There were barely anybody in the stores. And I've seen that. I've actually went out on some Black Fridays, and sometimes they hike the prices up to where this wasn't even nowhere near the original price. So I walked in here, just say yesterday, you hiked the price up just to mark it down as far as a discount goes, but it wasn't really a discount. You just hiked the price up, and the discount was basically the regular price of the item. There's no discount or no Black Friday enthusiasm about that. There was years ago when I was a child. I'm not that old, right? I'm a 2000s baby. Shout out to the 2000s babies. But you would be able to get good deals on Black Friday. You would be able to go into a store, say it was 50% off something. It was actually 50% off. There was no price hike and then coming back down to the regular price. It was actually a 50% off. I walked out of there with good items, items that I was like, oh man, I really got this on the steal. I looked forward to it. There was lines at midnight, like when they used to still do that. I don't know if they still do that anymore. I don't really go out on Black Friday, but I know they would do something like some stores, especially a lot of shopping centers, would have lines at 12 o'clock at night, midnight, and people will go swarm the stores. It'd be 1, 2, 3, and 4 in the morning, and people were out there all the way to sun up getting their stuff, shopping and everything, because it was those kinds of deals and they didn't want to miss it out on those kinds of deals, right? People look forward to Black Friday to upgrading the household, upgrading the school stuff for the kids, whether it be clothing, laptops, whatever it was, right? Like there was just a bunch of things in general people used to look forward to that they don't look forward to no more. And I think that's a sentiment to what he was referring to as far as the silent depression goes, right? We are in an economy now where the cost of living has become substantially higher. Like if you look at the inflation compared to where it was just, let's say, 2 decades ago, the housing line and affordability of housing is here and the inflation line is here. Back then it was, okay, this is the housing line and this is like the inflation line, right? Now it's just reverse. And guess what? The wages and everything they were talking about is not keeping up with that inflation line. Therefore, the cost of living is just becoming a fan of the past, to live affordably. Like, so it's either you're going to have to work multiple jobs, which again, I've advocated for. That shouldn't be the norm, right? I should be able to, work my regular job, work my full-time job, get a good, decent wage to be able to support me, my family, X, Y, Z, and live an okay life. I shouldn't have to go out here, work this job, and then there's no loyalty. And then you have to go try to find another job, then go do this, go do that, etc. It should be, what is our middle ground? When is the people who are in power going to do something about, these just loopholes and egregious, rulings to be able to allow, whether it be landlords, employers, whoever it is, right, to be able to just get away with doing whatever they're doing, right? I've seen it firsthand just the other day. There's people still getting $10 an hour right now. $10 an hour in this economy? Are you crazy? Like, yeah, technically it's not minimum wage, but what is $10? The argument that people use sometimes where they say, oh, but who's really out here paying minimum wage? I mean, there's plenty of jobs out here, and I've seen it firsthand, still paying close to it when you look at the cost of living and everything, right? You might as well be getting minimum wage. I mean, you're really not getting no form of comfort, with that paycheck that you're getting. So unless you're working multiple jobs and draining yourself and having no time to even sleep, but I digress. But yeah, that video touched on a lot. The economy is a little bit in shambles right now. Hopefully there's brighter days, but unfortunately, we'll see. But let's get back to it.
I'm going to explain to you guys how much more expensive things are today than they were even 3 years ago based off of my current financial situation. So 4 years ago, when I graduated law school, I graduated making $65,000 a year. I was living in a 1-bedroom by myself, paying $1,400 a month. After the first 3 months, my boyfriend moved in, and so then we were splitting it, so it was $700 a piece. But he lost his job at one point, and so for 3 months before he got a new one, I was covering the rent all by myself. So it was about 6 months of me paying $1,400 a month for that year-long lease. Now I make about $85,000 a year. I have 2 roommates, and we split the rent 3 ways. And usually my rent is like $950, something around that. So I'm making technically $20,000 more a year. I'm paying roughly the same of what I was paying in rent. And I have never been more stressed out about money in my entire life.
Okay, I don't want to be, let's say, the bearer of bad news, right? But I want to see the whole picture, right? Because she did mention she now has roommates, right? And they're splitting it, obviously. And I'm assuming she's making at least around the same what she was making when she got out of college. She went to law school. She said she came out of college making $65,000 a year. Now, my question is, maybe she has student debt, maybe her lifestyle, is not what she should be living, but she's living above her means, let's say that, right? So I have all these different questions because my perspective is, I know the cost of living is high, right? But when you're splitting things 2-3 ways, right, that should give you a little bit of leeway, even if you don't have, let's say, the most prestigious job, right? If you have a decent job, which I think $65,000 a year, and she says she's making $20,000 more now, right? So that's around $85,000 now. You should be able to, let's say, save a little bit of money, live a little bit of a comfortable life, live with some form of decency, right? What is her money management skills like, right? What are the debts she's taking on, right? What is she doing in her day to day to be able to not allow her the affordability to live a comfortable life, right? I think the average salary in America is, I want to say, around $50,000. So if you're telling me you're making $30,000+ more than the average salary, but you're still not able to afford life on top of you being able to split your bills 2 or 3 ways with roommates, I just have a little bit of questions. I don't know. I feel like that's a thing a lot of people do as far as here in America. You know, I can't speak for the whole world, but I would assume it's somewhere kind of similar. You just live above your means, right? People live above their means as far as wanting to stand out, you know, whether it's their car, you know, whether it's their everyday routine, what they wear, you know, just a lot of bunch of just things that really do not matter that much, right? Somebody may see it, right? But then once you go past them, you walk past them, drive past them, or whatever it is, they never even think about it again, right? You're not even on that person's mind. I mean, there's a bunch of different alternatives is basically what I'm saying out here. Just find yours, right? Find what looks good. I feel like we're in such a society now where there are so many things that are accepted that was not accepted, let's say, 10 years ago, right? Now, I feel like it's one of them cultures now, like, don't judge nobody, accept everybody for who they are, you know, X, Y, and Z, right? Just get in where you fit in. All right, let's get back into it.
When are we gonna address the fact that the cost of living is literally costing a fucking living? I ain't signed up for this shit. A motherfucker is tired. Very grateful to be able to obtain in this time that we're living in. Cause God forbid you gotta start over. They not even hiring, not only for degrees, but for regular jobs, regular positions. They're not hiring for shit. Then don't have been somewhere where the cost of living was already high as a motherfucker. Now it's triple double that. Quality shit as fuck. Go to the grocery store. The second you buy some motherfucking fruit, you bring that shit home. Do you know you got 30 minutes? 30. Gas is literally lasting 2 and a possible. Bitch, 48 hours? All I did was go to work and back home. Like, it's not even that far, bitch. I'm like 10 minutes away. Like, I'm over it for real though. I'm truly over it. Then they wonder why motherfuckers ain't having kids. Like, is you cool? For what? Motherfuckers without kids don't even want them anymore. Like, it's just, no, they don't even want them. And then everybody else that have them already, they're done. They're done. Bitches is starting to get their tubes tied. Bitch, it's cool. Don't worry about it. I don't have to get an abortion. I'm not having no more. Like, is y'all fucking cool? It's crazy out here. On top of it's being HIV every motherfucking where you turn, bitch. Ain't nobody worried about fucking. Then y'all getting ready to take away Medicare and Medicaid. Who the fuck got time to be raising kids on top of taking care of their elder loved ones? Like, it's just too much going on. It's enough is enough.
I mean, I feel like some of the sentiments that she said, I kind of feel the same. I'm not gonna lie, because I feel like when I go to the store now, the fruit already be bad, and it's like, well, dang, what other options are there? You know, it's either even the organic stuff. The organic stuff don't even always be good, and I'll have to pay extra for that, right? I would say sometimes we do become our worst enemy, right? We do get into a little bit of a comfortable spot, right, in life. Sometimes we get a little bit of money saved up. We get a little bit ahead of the curve sometimes, right? So we then become, you know, lifestyle creeps. So sometimes we let certain things creep into our lifestyle that maybe shouldn't have, you know, maybe, okay, I have the money now, let me go ahead and buy those shoes I was looking at, right? Invest that, you know, maybe I should go buy that makeup I was looking at, go and invest that, right? Maybe I should go buy that car, go invest that, you know. I tell people all the time, you don't have to invest and save boatloads of money per month, right? A lot of people think you have to save hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of dollars a month, thousands and thousands of dollars a year. If you don't have it, you don't have it, right? That's understandable, right? But you have to start somewhere. I tell people, start with $5 a week, right? And just have it automatically taken out of your account, right? Because 9 times out of 10, you're already going to spend that money on food, coffee, snack, this, that, whatever it is throughout the day, right? So just go invest that one time. I'm just saying one time, not every day, just one time every week, right? And then you ramp that up to, okay, $10 every week, right? $15, $20. And then before you know it, it's like, okay, I'm investing $100 a month, $200 a month. And I'm learning to live without that money, right? Because before, I was just feeling like I had no money, but even all the excess money that I truly did have, I was fucking off and not even knowing it, right? But now it's like, okay, I have a game plan. I have a motion, right? For money that I'm not going to even miss. So it doesn't even give me the opportunity to go mess it up, right? It already is accounted for, it's already planned for. Now I'm starting to live within my means. If you stuck with me this long, man, I appreciate it. Thanks for all the support. If you haven't liked the video and you like the video, go ahead, smash that like button. Go ahead and subscribe as well. It's going to help the algorithm. It's going to help grow and build this channel. Again, I want to build a community here, right? I'm going to reiterate this in every video. I want to build a platform where people want to come watch me, hear my advice, hear my opinions, and maybe give their own opinions, even if they don't necessarily agree with me, right? Just give their own opinion and state what their view is, right? Just for the simple fact, I want to have that kind of vulnerability and kind of, responsiveness on this channel, right? So go ahead, comment if there's anything you want me to talk about, certain topics that you think are interesting, right? Or just give your views on anything that I've talked about. But thank you. Until next video, and I'm out.